Good evening and welcome to our new studio. It's called What is in God's Mind. I believe that this studio is, to start up, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Lelu Moala-Mafi, and I have been pastoring in a church called Cornerstone Leadership Church for more than 20 years. It's about 23 years for exact. I'm an ordained pastor and under the New Zealand AOG or Assembly of God. My background is in business and pastoral and counseling degree. So I believe that God has been calling me to plant a church, and part of the vision for this church is to focus on healing leaders. And when I had this vision and what God was given to me, I asked the question why, and why would be a church that is focusing on leadership. And the thing that God was speaking to me or showing me that the passion for leadership is for wholeness. It talks about made whole. When you become a leader, you have to lead from wholeness. And God speak about wholeness, about restoring us to what God has and purposely had created us for. And many leaders or pastors or many people has been in leadership. There are three things that always bring their character down or destroy, even though they're gifted and have high quality of skillful or maybe education, maybe intelligent. But there are three things that always bring down a leader, and that has got to be money, power, and sex. These areas in our lives as a leader, it brings us down and destroy, not only to destroy us, but actually it destroys the people that we serve. And God wanted this mission or this church to focus on healing one at a time, but also to heal and to restore. Whether to heal, to restore you, to lead your own life, whether you're a single life, marriage, or even your daughter or son, or your prime minister or ministers, anything, any leadership in the community, anyone who's actually in leadership, or just any individual, we suffer from these three things that actually destroy our character. So God was speaking to me about building the church and focusing on that. And it's not about the psychologies of it, but it's all about the death, the resurrection, and the power of the Holy Spirit. These are the uncompromised quality of God himself, that he has sent his son to die on the cross, to redeem, to make us whole. That's the whole purpose of Jesus coming to die on the cross. So I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the background of what I have been doing and why we are doing this studio and what is God's mind. In the last 15 years, we've been doing a lot of training and healing leaders in the Pacific, and so as in Asia. About 7 years in Vanuatu and 7 years in China and Hong Kong. We also have part of it in Singapore. But not only that, I have traveled even to Fiji, Tonga, and also Kiribati and other smaller islands that I have been ministered to, let alone Indonesia, and so is America. God has opened doors for all these things to happen. But somehow, after 20 years, God wanted to put all these things together on a studio. And because I don't need to travel, I don't need to keep on traveling, but this will be the studio that I will be talking more about the mind of God. So, the very thing that God has given to me is this. Not only He's giving me revelation to liberate and create materials, He's also given me opportunity to actually to be part of a team who established a Bible college or a university, which they have students from all over the world in Europe, Eastern Europe, and so is America, USA, and also in Asia, China, Singapore, Hong Kong. All this has been part of what God has been put in my heart. So I've been asking to actually develop the two papers for this university, and I had the privilege of doing that. And it was about the warfare and also the inner healing. And it talks all about the three things that I mentioned before. It's money, power, and sex. So in this studio, we will be talking more about the wholeness of what God has for us. But not only that, not only to develop this material and running the lectures that has to be recorded, and also the assignment and the questionnaires to develop for these two papers I have been privileged to do. I'm in the process of writing books and writing materials, especially for these three things or these three issues that bring the inner soul of man down in their leadership. So I believe that God is speaking to us about it. And, you know, I'll say sex is a conversion. It's like a money conversion. It's a currency to intimacy. Money is a currency of wealth. Power is a currency of glory. And all these three things that we stumble and fall is actually the actual very image of God has given to us as human beings. And we can't cut those things off in our lives. It's about bringing them to God. So Satan is not going to use that to destroy your character, to destroy your leadership, to destroy the people that you're leading. And the people you're leading is just, maybe it's your son and your daughters, maybe your grandchildren, maybe it's you, yourself and your wife, or maybe the community, and maybe the government, maybe the business. All these things we cannot escape from it, because God created us in His image. And this, the most powerful image of God has been given to us. He said to us to go and dominion and rule. He's given us power and wealth. He said multiply. So these are the three actual issue in a downfall of a soul of a human being. But I believe this studio, we will be talking about that. So we're not only just talk about leadership in the church, leadership in government, leadership in business. We're going to talk about family. We're also going to talk about marriage. And these are the things we'll be running in here. The question is, what is God's mind? What is God's mind into these areas? And I will be expounding it, or I will be explaining it in more detail as we go into the next session. But right now, I just want you to understand, if you're tuning in, just want to know, what is this studio is all about? What is this people is all about? I just wanted to introduce myself to you. I just wanted to introduce where I come from and what has been happening in the ministry before we continue to do talking into deeper things. Right now, the church is centered in the capital of Wellington. The church is focusing in leadership. It's called Cornerstone Leadership Church. Our mission now is not only to see healing and restoration. Our mission now that we can mentor, we can raise up people in leadership and mentor people. So I believe this studio, if you want to turn into and then say, what are these people all about? We are passionate to see the wholeness that God can heal and completely heal us. The sad thing is, most of us are gifted. Most of us are very smart. We are very intelligent. But these issues, these three things that God has gifted to us because of human nature, it always brings us down in our leadership. I believe this studio, we will talk more what is in God's mind. And what is in God's mind? It is His Word and the power of His Holy Spirit. So tune in to our next session or our next episode. I will be talking to you and outline how this studio is going to run, and also the topics that we will be focusing on this studio. Thank you very much for listening, and tune in to the next one. Thank you.